Peace, blessings, salutations. Yarima Karama here, real life, real talk. These are the days of our lives. So I wanted to check in with everyone. And I know people were concerned. I got some inboxes earlier. They were concerned about me. I'm doing fine. Uh, of course, as you can imagine, getting an influx of calls from different news organizations, getting of course, some of the people who I know, like news organizations, are going by their homes and stuff like that. So I just wanted to say that I'm doing fine at this point, and just wanted to do a recap. Peace, Tariq. Just wanted to do a recap because I think that I did an interview this today on NBC 10, a local affiliate here in Columbus, and just did that interview a little bit ago, and I think it's important that because the interviewer asked me why uh, Cosmos, known as Gavin Long, why he sent the manifesto to me. It doesn't seem like, or at least reports are right now that nobody else seems to have gotten it. Why he sent it to me, and other than the fact that the young brother said that he looked up to me, which he sent an email verifying that or saying that. The only other thing that I can surmise. As to why he might have sent it to me, in the hopes that I would get it out. Maybe uh, uh, he felt like I was courageous enough to expose it, and also to be able to read it, so that maybe people would know that he wasn't crazy like he was going to be portrayed. And so I don't know what was in his mind. I don't know why he sent it to me, but I can, in my thinking, I can come up with, the only thing I can come up with legitimately is that maybe he wanted this information to get out, and he felt like, that I would be the one to get it out. So, of course, the trolls have been hitting. There have been people who have been coming back. Oh, I think it's fake. If it was real, why didn't you turn it over to the FBI? Uh, well, here's the scenario with that. I don't, whether what you believe, I don't know. I know I got it in my email box. Um, and I have gotten previous emails from this brother, so I have no reason to believe that it's not fake. I do, uh, like I said, I'm not spending a dime. That's where my uh, allegiance for the cause is that until we stop seeing loss of life in the black community, my thing is economic boycott. And so, but for the ones who are like, well, why didn't you turn it over to the FBI? Well, quite frankly, when I did find out that it was, when I did make the connection, which was days later after the event, when I made the connection that it was him, I immediately called an attorney. And the attorney told me that I had not committed a crime, and that I had no obligation to turn that over to anybody. And so my response to the people that say that would be, I don't personally trust the FBI, and I think that they have given us, police departments and FBI have given us reason, especially media outlets have given us reason not to trust. And so one of the first organizations that I sent this to was, the first two that I sent it to was BuzzFeed and was RT America. I sent it to RT America because they were actually the first group. And what I find funny about this is that when Alton Sterling, because I do these videos. You guys have been with me for a while now. If you've been following my YouTube page, you know I do these videos often. So this isn't something new. My YouTube, I've been doing those videos. I've been talking about the corruption in the police department, the Gestapo type tactics that have been used. I've also been talking about black community and how we have to come together and start the process of reunification. So I say all that to say that when the incident with Alton Sterling and Philando Castile took place, with all the influx of calls that I'm getting from these different news outlets right now about this manifesto. None of those calls came in from these same broadcasts when this happened to them. The only organization that reached out to me was RT America, and RT America actually wanted me to come into their studio offices in DC. At the time, I was in Chicago. So they said, well, hey, we got a studio there. You can come in there. And we would like for you to do an interview talking about, these senseless killings that have taken place in the African American community. And I did that. My point being is that when it was convenient, or when it, when the dynamics change, now I get all this media influx and organizations wanting to reach out. Now all of a sudden they want these interviews. But when Alton Sterling and Philando Castile were basically assassinated, I call it that. We've seen the videos. When that happened, it was nobody. The only organization that reached out was RT America, and so I sent them the manifesto because I felt like they were a fair organization. They wanted to hear both sides of the story, and so I sent it to them, and I also sent it to BuzzFeed, which is not a big media conglomerate, but they tend to not be partial when it comes to news. They somewhat play an impartial role, and so those were the outlets that I was really looking at to get to send this information to, and so. I just wanted to put that out there for the ones who were saying, "Oh, you didn't send it to the FBI." No, I didn't, because and they have it now. But they came and found me because at the end of the day, there is a trust factor here that plays. And right now, they are not the most trusted. And Dawood, in no uncertain terms, would I even consider Fox News on no uncertain terms. Because my thing is that these are not, one thing we have to get out of the habit of is debating. Because what the debates are good if you're on the college debate team, but at the end of the day, what happens is we get in these lanes where we debate. Some things, death to me is not debatable. It's not something to debate. Now we can sit down and we can have dialogue, we can have discussion, but some issues I'm not going to sit on Fox News and debate. Them. It's fruitless to me. That, because what it does is it creates even more divisions than we already have. And so, but I wanted to put that out because the news outlets, they weren't reaching out outside of RT America. They weren't reaching out up until this point when, oh, this guy's got the manifesto. But when Philando Castile and Alton Sterling were put down, they weren't looking for input. They weren't looking for input then. They weren't chasing down sources then to come and talk about what's going on with this situation. But now all of a sudden, they want to reach out, and I got news people, I have them at personal friends' houses that I don't even know how they found out where certain friends of mine live. And so my thing is, and like I said in a feed yesterday, if you can use that same tenacity, use that same zealous nature for any loss of life, use that same zealous nature, use that same tenacity, use that same vigor, use that same energy when a brother like Henry here in Columbus, Ohio gets laid down by police. When you got an Alton Sterling, when you got a Philando Castile. Another thing is that here's another thing. When the attorney told me that I had no obligation to turn this over to authorities, here's my thing, and this is real. Not only is it the trust factor, I don't trust them. And I'm just being real. I don't trust them. So, but not only that, but also this. When there's a black citizen that gets killed, there's no rush to get the black community information. There's no rush to get us any type of information to kind of, stemmy the flow of energy that we're feeling, there to stemmy the flow of emotions that we're having. They're not so quick to turn over information. Their premise is, well, let justice take its course. Hold up, let the justice system take its course. And we've seen that resounding measure over and over and over again. They feel like they have no obligation to give the black community any answers. And so I felt no obligation to turn this over to them. And they have it now. And I did sit down with two. They seemed like fair gentlemen, and got them the information, let them know, but let's understand that this is a two-way street. And if we're trying to bridge some gaps here, and we're trying to, build some dialogue, and that's what I told NBC today, or ABC. I mean, I was on ABC, not NBC, but that's what I let them know today, is that this is about bridging gap. There are conversations that have never been had that need to be had. And when you talk about, President Obama sitting down having a town hall, that's great and dandy, but we need it down here on the local level, and that's what I'm pushing for. And so, we need to find a community center or a library where we can go and have that kind of dialogue on local levels in communities all throughout the country, because everybody is hurting right now. And if you know me, I'm a promoter of life. And so I'm going to continue to promote life. I'm going to continue to promote unification amongst humanity. But at the end of the day, I am, as a promoter of life, I am a black man. And every time I go out of my house, I have to realize that I might not make it back. And, when you talk about Philando Castile, you're talking about a guy who was a government worker, who was, outside the norm. We're not talking thug here. So even when they want to put the labels on, well, it was a thug. Oh, he reached for the cop's gun. You're talking about a guy who was a legit a gun carrier, had legitimate, was legitimately able to carry a gun. He had the paperwork. You're talking about a guy who had a government job, obviously was harassed, pulled over, 46, 50 some different times for traffic violations. And so that within itself should tell you, when that cop pulled him over, this guy's been pulled over 46, 50 some different times. There's never been an altercation. That should have been a signal. So for this guy to be shot and killed, that's a wake up call to those in the community who, might be looked upon as thugs. But it's also a wake up call to, those in the community who are working, who have 9-to-5s, or who have their own businesses, or, who are doing the right thing. It's like, hey, nobody's life out here is exempt if you're black. I just posted a video last night of a guy in Florida. I believe it was Miami. I don't remember, but he's laying on the ground on his back with his hands up. Laying on the ground on his back with his hands up. He's trying to calm down an autistic kid. The police have come out because they got a report that somebody had a gun. The kid actually had a phone in his hand. I think it was a toy phone or something that he had. The kid is sitting up. He's autistic. The black man is laying on his back on the ground with his hands up, and they still shoot him. And when he asked the police, you can go on my Facebook feed and see that. He says, when he asked the cop, why did you shoot me? The cop says, I don't know. And so, this is the dynamic. So maybe, getting back to the original point, because I got to get ready to go, but maybe Cosmos or Gavin Long, as he's known. I didn't know him as Gavin Long. I knew him as Cosmos. Maybe he sent that to me because maybe he felt I was courageous enough to put it out there. And, and that's what I did. That's what I did. And I wanted you to get it from me. Since it was sent to me, and once I was able to make the connection, I felt kind of obligated to put that out, as well as send it to the news sources, so that it could be reported, but I wanted to make sure that nothing was manipulated or anything like that. So I gave you what was sent to me. So, but just to let everybody know, I'm okay. I'm doing okay. Obviously don't want this kind of publicity per se, as far as it had to be over loss of life. But if brothers like myself, Dr. Boyce Watkins, and other brothers, if we're the ones who have to speak out on it, then so be it, because it has to stop. And so with that said, my name is Yurima Karama, man. Go to my webpage, www.yurimakarama.com. I will be in Indianapolis tomorrow night at Greenhouse Effect performing. This is a hip hop event that my portion will be hip hop. So if you're in the Indianapolis area, come check it out. And the same thing applies. I'm not spending a dime unless it's on needs. So that hasn't changed. The dynamics haven't changed for me. I'm not spending a dime unless it's on needs. I'm not no wants, and if it has to be a want, then it has to be Black-owned establishment. Also, shout out to Ivory Carter. Got your package, brother. I haven't opened it yet, but I will be on here later to promote whatever it is that you have sent me. Brothers reaching out, sending me clothes, and I want to show my appreciation by big upping their clothing lines and giving that information to you all, so you know where you can possibly go to get some fashion apparel, that sort of thing. So my name is Yurima Karama. Peace, blessings, salutations. I'll be back at you later. One.